Welcome to Alpha Online Education. Today we discuss about the topic unit number 2. In these, the name of the unit is Fundamental Rights and Directive Principles of State Policy. So, the name of the topic is Fundamental Rights and Directive Principles of State Policy. In these side, the topic 1 is fundamental rights. So every citizen, the constitutional drafting committee compose the fundamental rights in our Indian Constitution Part 3. In our Indian Constitution Part 3, Article 12 to 35 says about the fundamental rights. So the main aim of fundamental rights, the fundamental rights give freedom to the citizens. So if no fundamental rights to the side of citizen, he do not live freely. So the fundamental rights gives freedom to the citizens. Every citizen of India have 6 fundamental rights for their side. So once that right is not fundamental right, that is the right of legal. So here these 6 are fundamental rights now present to the side of citizens. So the first right to equality. So this is the most important annual examination question of all students of second year. It is a 10 marks question. The long question is in the side of this second topic. The question of the students write about the fundamental rights to the citizens. So these 6 are fundamental rights to the side of citizens. So the right to equality, here compulsory mention the articles. You do not write to your own way. So right to equality means all are equal before him. So the way of that is not correct. Every student must write the articles. So actually in our Indian Constitution Part 3, Article 12 to 35 says about the fundamental rights. So the importance of fundamental rights, the aims of the fundamental rights all are in 12 to 13 articles. So the right to equality, it is Article 14 to 18. The right to freedom, it is Article 19 to 22. The third one is right against exploitation, it is 23. 24. The right to freedom of religion, the right to freedom of religion, this is Article 25 to 28. The culture and education right, it is 29 and 30. The 31, actually the Article 31, it is right to property. Now present the right to property is not a fundamental right, it is the right of legal. And the final, the 6th one is right to constitutional remedies. So these 6 are fundamental rights of the citizen. So here compulsory every student must by heart the articles. So here the right to equality. So right to equality means all are equal. No variation between caste and religions, no variation between sex. So all are equal in the side of right to equality. So according to Article 14, all are equal. This is to 14 article. So the 15th article, it is all are equal before in the idea in all employment opportunities. So all are equal. So all are equal. So now present the reservation system is in the side of ours. So the right to equality the right to equality law article 15 what says and all are equal before in all government jobs. So actually the 16 also no variation between various places. So all places all are in any place all are they maintain the equality. So article 17 it is the most important article. It is untouchability is a crime. Untouchability is a crime. Untouchability is a crime. Article 17 says. So it is a very important competitive examination question. What article 17 says? The article 17 says all are the untouchability is a crime. In Telugu, antarani tanamu anedi oka neram. So the untouchability is a crime. So the 17th says the untouchability is a crime. And then the 18. So every citizen of India must take any title in Indian side. You take any title in the side of within country. So the foreign countries give any title to you at the time you before taken the permission of Indian president. Foreign titles at the time you take any foreign title at the time compulsory you take the permission of Indian president. So this is right to equality. So the major aim of right to equality, all are equal before law, all are equal before in the state. So untouchability is a crime. So you live in actually all are equal before in right to equality. This is the first right. So the second right to freedom. So what is the meaning of freedom? Swecha. The right to freedom. So it says about the 19 to 22. So in these 19, every citizen of India lives in any way. So no one can object that. So any citizen of India lives in any way. Okay. He lives in any way. Kashmir to Kanyakumari, it is India. So every citizen of India must live in any way of India. And then the 7 freedoms to the side of citizens according to 19 articles. 7 freedoms. So right to speech, right to express your ideologies, right to talk, live in anywhere in India. These are all 7 freedoms to the side of citizen according to 19 article. So the 20 and 21, 22. So every citizen of India must live in anywhere in India. No one can object the full freedom for in his side. The fundamental rights give that the constitution rights give freedom to the citizens. So if he have no rights for in his side, he do not live freely in India. So the right to freedom and right against exploitation, right against exploitation, right against exploitation according to 23. So the profession of Padupu Vritti or Vaishya Vritti is it prohibited? Is it prohibited? According to 24, who do not completed their 14 years, they do not do any big industries. They do not work any big industries. So that is the 24 article. So if the citizen do not interest the work of that, you do not encourage him. And then the right to freedom of religion. Right to freedom of religion. You take any religion but one condition. you do not criticize others' religion. Religion is holy one of the citizen. Every citizen give more priority to his religion. You take any religion, no one can object. So one condition is in front of citizen, he do not discourage others' religion. You take any religion, no one can object. You take any religion, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Buddhist, you take any religion, no one can object. So one condition is in front of every citizen. So at the time of religion change, you do not criticize the other religion. So religion is holy. So every citizen must give more priority to his own religion. It is the holy one. So you take any religion, no one can object you. The India is the country of secular. The choice is your side. You join any religion, but condition is once at the time of you joining, you do not criticize others' religion. And then, so you do not collect any money to the development of your religion. You do not collect any money to others for the development of your own religion. In education institutions, the education institution law no says about the religion. So finally, the religion, it is the one of the holy one. No one can criticize the religion. The choice is his. He take any religion. So education institutions do not support the religion classes. So it is the one of the very soft fundamental right. So right to religion is the most important fundamental right of the citizens. And then the culture and education. So the education. So now present the government give more priority to education. So according to Article 29, the education is compulsory. So the education, it's very important nowadays. The government also encourage the educational institutions. So education is must. Okay, so Article 29 what it says education, compulsory education, Article 29. So 30, the culture, it is the valuable one. So here in Indian side, it is the country of secular, various religions lives in India. So the culture of religions is separate. Every citizen respect his own culture. Every citizen respect his own culture. So here the Hindus culture is separate, the Muslims culture is separate, the Christians culture is separate. So every citizen must give more priority to his religion's culture. So that is education, right to education and culture. So here the sixth one. It is right to constitutional remedies. This is the 32 article, constitutional remedies. Every citizen of India must respect these fundamental rights. So it is the heart of all fundamental rights. Any person entered your right, the government entered your right. So the other institution enter your rights at the time you go to the courts. So actually the right to constitutional remedies is heart of all fundamental rights according to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Ambedkar says the right to constitutional remedies is heart of all fundamental rights. If any damage of your own fundamental right, at the time you go to the court at the time the courts issue 6 writs. At the time the court issues 6 writs. Six is in that six. The one is habeas corpus. Habeas corpus, quo warrant, certiorari, mandamus, prohibition, injunction. These six all are issued by the courts. So the all fundamental rights all are protected by the courts. So in our Indian Constitution Part 3 says about these six fundamental rights. Every citizen must use his fundamental rights and he lives freely in India. So this is the topic of fundamental rights.